It was a day after the winter solstice, and the princes were in Ayodhya on their half-yearly holiday. It had been 3 years since they first left for the Gurukul. Uttarayan, the northward movement of the sun across the horizon, had begun. 6 months later, in peak summer, Lord Surya would reverse his direction, and Dakshinayan, the southward movement of the sun, would begin. Ram spent most of his time even on holiday with Guru Vasishtha, who had moved back to the palace with the boys. Kaushalya could not do much besides complain. Bharat, on the other hand, was strictly confined to Kaikeyi's chambers, subjected to incessant tutoring and interrogation by his forceful mother. Lakshman had already started riding small ponies, and he loved it. Shatrughan just read books. Lakshman was rushing to his mother Sumitra after one such riding lesson when he stopped short, hearing voices outside her chamber. He peeped in from behind the curtains. "You must understand, Shatrughan, that your brother Bharat may make fun of you, but he loves you the most. You should always stay by his side." Shatrughan was holding a palm leaf booklet in his hand, desperately trying to read as he pretended to pay attention to his mother. "Are you listening to me, Shatrughan?" asked Sumitra sharply. "Yes, mother," Shatrughan said, looking up, sincerity dripping from his voice. "I don't think so." Shatrughan repeated his mother's last sentence. His diction was remarkably clear and crisp for his age. Sumitra knew that her son hadn't been paying attention, and yet she couldn't do anything about the fact that he'd not been genuinely listening to her at all. Lakshman smiled as he ran up to his mother, yelping with delight as he leapt into her lap. "I will listen to you, Ma," he said with his childish lisp. Sumitra smiled as he wrapped her arms around Lakshman. "Yes, I know you will always listen to me. You are my good son." Shatrughan glanced briefly at his mother before going back to his palm leaf booklet. "I will do whatever you tell me to do," said Lakshman, his earnest eyes filled with love. "All right." "Then listen to me," said Sumitra, leaning with a clownish, conspirational expression, the kind she knew Lakshman loved. "Your elder brother Ram needs you." Her expression changed to compassionate wistfulness as she continued. "He is a simple and innocent soul. He needs someone who can be his eyes and ears. No one really likes him." She focused on Lakshman once again and murmured, "You have to protect him from harm. People always say mean things about him behind his back, but he sees the best in them. He has too many enemies. His life may depend on you." "Really?" asked Lakshman, his eyes widening with barely understood dread. "Yes, and believe me, I can only count on you to protect him. Ram has a good heart, but he is too trusting of others." "Don't worry, Ma," said Lakshman, stiffening his back and pursing his lips, his eyes gleaming like a soldier honored with a most important undertaking. "I will always take care of Ram Dada." Sumitra hugged Lakshman again and smiled fondly. "I know you will." "Dada!" shouted Lakshman, banging his little heels against the pony's sides, willing it to run faster. But the pony, specially trained for children, refused to oblige. 9-year-old Ram rode ahead of Lakshman on a taller saddle at every alternate step. Faster pony. True to his training, he rose gracefully in his saddle at every alternate step of the canter, in perfect unison with the animal. On this vacant afternoon, they decided to practice by themselves the art of horsemanship at the Royal Ayodhya riding grounds. "Dada, stop!" screamed Lakshman desperately, having abandoned by now any pretense at following vaguely learned instructions. He kicked and whipped his pony to the best of his ability, Ram looked back at the enthusiastic Lakshman and smiled as he cautioned his little brother. Lakshman, slow down, ride properly. Stop, yelled Lakshman. Ram immediately understood Lakshman's frantic cry and pulled his reins as Lakshman caught up and dismounted rapidly. Dada, get off! What? Get off! Shouted an agitated Lakshman as he grabbed Ram's hand, trying to drag him down. Ram frowned as he got off the horse. What is it, Lakshman? Look! Lakshman exclaimed as he pointed at the belayed strap that went through the buckle of the girth strap. The girth, in turn, kept the saddle in place. The buckle had almost come undone. By the great Lord Rudra, whispered Ram. Had the buckle released while he was riding, he would have been thrown off the dislodged saddle, resulting in serious injury. Lakshman had saved him from a terrible accident. Lakshman looked around furtively, his mother's words echoing in his brain. Someone tried to kill you, Dada. Ram carefully examined the girth strap and the attached buckle. It simply looked worn out. There were no signs of tampering. Lakshman had certainly saved him from an injury, though, and possibly even death. Ram embraced Lakshman gently. Thank you, my brother. Don't worry about any conspiracy, said Lakshman, wearing a solemn expression. He was now certain about his mother's warnings. I will protect you, Dada, always. Ram tried hard to prevent himself from smiling. Conspiracies, huh? Who taught you such a big word? Shatrughan, said Lakshman, looking around again, scanning the area for threats. Shatrughan, Yes, don't worry, Dada. Lakshman will protect you. Ram kissed his brother's forehead and reassured his little protector. I feel safe already. The brothers were all set to go back to the Gurukul 2 days after the horse saddle incident. Ram visited the royal stable the night before their departure to groom his horse. Both of them had a long day ahead. There were stable hands, of course, but Ram enjoyed this work. It soothed him. The animals were among the handful in Ayodhya who did not judge him. He liked to spend time with them occasionally. He looked back at the sound of the clip-clop of hooves. Lakshman, cried Ram in alarm, as little Lakshman trooped in atop his pony. Obviously injured, Ram rushed forward and helped him dismount. Lakshman's chin had split open, deep enough to urgently need stitches. His face was covered with blood. But with typical bravado, he did not flinch at all when Ram examined his wound. You are not supposed to go horseback riding in the night. You know that, don't you? Ram admonished him gently. Lakshman shrugged. Sorry, the heart suddenly... Don't talk, interrupted Ram as the blood flow increased. Come with me. Ram hastily sped towards Nilanjana's chambers along with his injured brother. En route, they were accosted by Sumitra and her maids who had been frantically searching for her missing son. What happened? Shouted Sumitra as her eyes fell upon the profusely bleeding Lakshman. Lakshman stood stoic and tight-lipped. He knew he was in for trouble as his Dada never lied. There was no scope for creative storytelling. He would have to confess and then come up with strategies to escape the inevitable punishment. It's nothing serious, Shotima, said Ram to his younger stepmother Sumitra. But we should get him to Nilanjanaji immediately. What happened? Sumitra persisted. Ram instinctively felt compelled to protect Lakshman from his mother's wrath. After all, Lakshman had saved his life just the other day. He did what his conscience demanded at the time. Shift the blame on himself. Chotima, it's my fault. I'd gone to the stable with Lakshman to group my horse. It's a little high-spirited and suddenly reared and kicked Lakshman. I should have ensured that Lakshman stood behind me. Sumitra immediately stepped aside. Quickly, take him to Nilanjana. She knows Ramdada never lies, Lakshman thought, filled with guilt. Ram and Lakshman rushed off as a maid attempted to follow them. Sumitra raised her hand to stop her as she watched the boys moving down the corridor. Ram held his brother's hand firmly. She smiled with satisfaction. Lakshman brought Ram's hand to his heart and whispered, "Together always, Dada, always." "Don't talk, Lakshman, the blood will..."